We are live without any warning at all. JE, go. I believe in you.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Welcome to the stream. We're
Um,
doing it very scuffed, but it's gonna be a good match.
it will be
I'm
such a
I'm
good
gonna
match.
I'm gonna make sure we're actually streaming
Yeah, it should
before I
pop up
give
in
the
like 10
yeah.
seconds, 5 seconds.
Let's see. Do we know which channel this is being
It'd be
streamed
to
to?
main, I think. Or it could just be to some random arbor church. Curbology! Hi,
Hello.
welcome to the stream. You might be live right now, or you might not be live right now. Who knows?
Yeah, it's we're on the main channel.
W.
Ooh.
They gave me main channel permission. That means
Oh,
we're
are you
live. That means we're ready to go. I'm sending in R. Any complaints?
big? Are you prodding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, word. Okay. Well,
The-
I'm leaving.
Get ready
then.
for the best stream you've ever seen, Curbology.
I will watch on my second monitor. I am not needed, so I'm gonna leave.
I mean, if you
Since
want to be
love
needed,
you.
you can be needed.
That's okay. I only said yes because Panini was like, please.
That's true.
I haven't been keeping up with anything, so I don't really know. I
Alright,
don't
Curbology,
know, like,
before you go, I need your prediction without knowing anything about the league. Who you
Oh,
got winning,
okay.
the Moonlit Foxes or the Chernobyl Chinchillas?
Let me see who's on these teams.
Oh, I can pull up the I can give you a
Ooh,
Oh,
okay.
custom match restarted? Here, I got you a
Ah.
stream here if you need it.
Ooh, let me look at these teams real quick.
So on the Foxes, we got the Nort Logic on the tank with the Transflect HV Sec DPS line and the Fedora Master
Ooh.
Strudel support. And on the
Oh.
Chernobyl Chinchillas, we got Skystar on tank with a new acquisition, Purple Jesus and Mikey on DPS with the Riddle Dog Charbotron support.
Hmm. You know
Yeah.
what? I'm gonna think. I'm gonna go with the Chinchillas. I have a feeling.
You have
A
a
gut
feeling.
feeling.
Gut
That's my
feeling.
prediction.
The
We'll
new
find out.
and improved Chinchillas.
We'll find out later if
Find
I'm
out
correct.
in 1 to 2 hours on the Aurora Esports MN. Blah blah blah.
Okay, I exit. Adios.
Bye bye.
See ya.
Bye.
I actually agree with Kerbology's prediction. I think the Chinchillas are gonna win, maybe a 3-1. That's what I'm thinking.
I
But the
disagree.
Foxes have a very. You disagree?
I do. Because you got to be controversial, you know. Like
True.
I think Foxes.
The Skycer on the Queen. Oh, Strudel is really split. Oh, I am having issues with my stream. Or not my stream, the game. Fedora just popped off, so that's pretty epic.
That is quite epic. I was having issues with clicking space. There we go. Now I got it set up pretty well.
Alright, well, looks like Foxes take early bot lead, which is pretty nice for them. They got Strudel and HV kind of set up around the bot with Fedora. Skyster's gonna try and get an opening and rush onto them.
Oh, that's a big knife on too. Riddle Dog really forces them out. North just putting in a lot of work on this backline, but these guys are doing equal amount on the other side too. North's gonna be the one who gets evaporated here. This guy actually decides to look back, turns on a HV, saves Mikey, who is 1 HP. Now you have the new acquisition of Purple Jesus, and you did see that Purple Jesus Catholic trade. I feel like that's one of those trades that can also work out equally for both teams. Purple Jesus unfortunately does fall there.
Yeah, I mean we did see Purple Jesus a bit on DPS on the Inazuma. So not too surprising we see him for DPS on the Chinchillas now. But looks like Chinchillas are just kind of playing slow, waiting for like teammate to get a pick, and Riddle gets a pick on Transflect. That's a pretty good pick too.
Yeah, an instant Kitsune rush as well to follow that up. Beat from Fedora Master to try and keep the team alive and sustain, but Nort Logic falls beforehand, and HV just doesn't get enough health from that, so now it's just the supports for the Moonlight Foxes doing their best to survive. They actually managed to get a pick on Purple Jesus, but not before finding 2 others.
Yeah, and Foxes do have some pretty good ults coming up. They have Windowed, which can zone out, like, this entire area around Checkpoint can be zoned out by Window, which would be good. Nort going in.
Yeah, Nort with a big axe and knife there really forces the Chernobyl Chinchillas to back up and take a bit safer positioning. Skyster decides to go towards the right side, or everybody else decides to go towards the left side. It's actually going to be Nort, going to be the one that's going to be picked out there as Rampage comes in from Skyster. But trades have gone fairly equally thus far. Skyster just trying to sustain near this point, trying to isolate out Strudel. But you've seen this time and time again. The backline of the Moonlit Foxes are no sleepers. Very, very hard to take these 2 out of Fedora and Strudel. They managed to sustain for their team, but the Chernobyl Chinchillas do eke out the lead in that time.
Yeah, and a bunch of ults use the Blade and the Rampage. On the other side, the Foxes are going to have an EMP and a Rampage, which is a very good combo to use to try and secure themselves a checkpoint. So we'll see how they
got
utilize.
Transflect with EMP. Decides to go for a natural hack. They have the fight advantage right now. They got an early pick onto Mikey, so they're trying to capitalize on to that. And they do manage to take the lead back, but PJ finds a pulse bomb onto HV. Skyster falls very low, eventually going to be taken out there. Transflect
Yeah,
and
looks
Fedora
like
trying to put down a lot of frontline pressure, but it's actually going to be the supports of Fedora and Strudel who get the first picks.
Yeah, and very good ult usage. They got the checkpoint. Now they can really start snowballing. They have a window coming up. Probably want to kite this rush though. You don't want to push into this if you don't have to.
Unfortunately, Nort just a bit behind there. Gets taken down. HV's life's going to be saved by that window, though. And I think the rest of the Foxes are going to be able to get out unless a good knife hits. Strudel's trying to play for his life. Fedora's there for the pickup. The rest of the team sort of trying to collapse onto Skyster here. Jumping onto the point. And a window invested by Strudel as well. Beat comes in too. You got to think this spells disaster for the Chernobyl Chinchillas as multiple members have already fallen. They still have the more to sustain.
Yeah, Skyster tries to rush and make a plan like Strudel or like another supporter Squishy, but just they had the beat and then they had the window, and like Skyster really can't like get aggressive into those, and he kind of just falls over from those ultimates. So they do have a Blade and a Pulse and a Rampage coming up though for the Chinchillas. So
yeah, 3 very big fight-winning ultimates, and you have no support ults on the side of the Moonlight Foxes to really counter that out. But Mikey's got to stay alive up here. Manages to get the backup from Skyster. Purple Jesus is also following dangerously low, but stays right up on his feet. Now Mikey just posturing to eventually hit this Blade here if he needs it. There it comes. Trevortron with the first pick. Mikey with the slide in. Overclock from HV to sort of try and take that out. Mikey gets hacked up, now fighting for his life on towards the point, but Purple Jesus is right there for the cleanup. And that's what's so interesting about this team is I don't think that the Chernobyl Chinchillas have really had any time to scrim. The trade happened just 1-2 days ago for Purple Jesus, so Purple Jesus is now just in. And he's like, okay, I haven't played with this team before. I'm going to do my best to fill the role, whatever it is. But I think this team will progressively get better as they effectively have infinitesimally increased their playtime together in this match alone.
Ooh, that's a big EMP. But yeah, we could see Rampage gets cleansed. Nice. But yeah, we could we could definitely see throughout this match the Chinchillas like improve like these first few like rounds of the match. Like they might not play as well as a team because they do have the new member in Purple Jesus, but as they start getting warmed up, as Purple Jesus start getting warmed up into the team, we probably will see Chinchillas play a lot better. That's what I'm guessing, anyways. But
Nort now is cautioning up with this Rampage. Doesn't want to use it too early. Wants to make sure the whole team is there to support him at the time. 3 of them are going to be playing up on a train car, and HV is going to be the first one to find a pick. Aurora gets another one. They're not even going to have to use any ults other than the Kitsune Rush that's already been invested. They should just be able to clean up these fights fairly cleanly. And that might even spell a bit more car progress for them. But HV does get picked off late.
yeah, losing HV isn't great because that slows down the progress you made. Now they're gonna have to retreat. Strudel gets picked by Riddle. Nice headshot by the Kiriko. Beat coming in.
Yeah, Fedora with
Trying to
the
sustain the space.
They just get burned down so quickly. The beat just to buy time. Now they have full-on 5v5 fight. Couple ults online on either side. Looking at Nort logic for this big Rampage here. Only hits one and gets beated anyways, so doesn't have all that much to sustain towards point, but does manage to get picks despite that, and now should be able to clean up this fight. Moonlight Foxes are going to get the fight when they need with less than a minute now on the clock.
Yeah, and that pick on the Riddle was massive by HV. Like, that's the Kitsune Rush completely out of the fight. That could have actually turned it for the Chinchillas. They might have been able to build the Skyster Rampage off of that Kitsune Rush, so. And then they still have EMP and Overclock to utilize for the Foxes.
Mikey makes the swap over onto the Sojourn, trying to mirror HV a bit better in this fight. And they are going to find their mark, find the pick. Off a very good Rampage there from Skyster. Riddle's going to use the Kitsune Rush as well, but Mikey does fall down.
Honestly, if you're the Foxes, like, you're kind of fine with that. You should definitely be able to touch the point again. You don't have overtime spawn yet. You have a lot of ults coming up too. You have 3 ults: the Kitsune Rush, and then the DPS ults. And they just use them right now.
Yep. HV already with an early pick down. But Skyster finds Strudel, so fight's still even. But it's the entire team of the Foxes just cleaning up the point there. And very close first match, but the Foxes are going to be the one to take it.
Yeah, very, very nice map win for the Foxes. They definitely want to get these early map wins to get a good momentum starting for their team. So nice, good start for them. We'll see what they go next.
Yeah, so they're going to be going to Hybrid next, which I believe this week is going to be KR, Parisio, Midtown, and Eigenwald, I think?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Off the top of my head. Hope. Oh, look at that.
What do we think the Chinchillas do want to go to?
If I'm the Chinchillas, I think you take something like KR, in my opinion. I think that's just a generally good bet because you can, yeah, they are going to be going to KR.
That, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to, so I feel like the Brawl DPS for the Foxes, like, I don't know what their Brawl DPS plan is, I guess. I feel like Transflex is a really great Sombra, and HV is great on like Hanzo, great on Sojourn, great on characters that excel at hitting heads, but I feel like there's a better Brawl plan on the side of the Chinchillas. obviously put Purple Jesus over onto the tank, and then they're going to make some crazy swaps up here. I think this is the first time that Sly's getting some support time. Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm not sure.
I don't know for sure also, but Sly actually did sign up this season as support with Charbotron duo. So nice to see him get to play support. And it looks like Riddle Dog's actually going to be on DPS for the Chinchillas. So Riddle Dog can actually play play some good DPS picks. So we'll see what he decides to go. And looks like Transflight actually is subbed out, and Fedora going to be on DPS for the Foxes.
Yeah, a lot of big swaps from both of these teams.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to play. I could definitely see, like, I know King's Row isn't traditionally like a dive map. I can definitely see like Chinchillas maybe trying to run Purple Jesus for Winston if they want to give that a try.
Yeah, Purple Jesus, in my opinion, like, at least as a captain, I don't know, I can't speak for you, obviously. He was one of the tanks that I was looking at that, like, this guy could be, like, a game-changing tank for my game, or for my team. So,
yeah, for sure.
He has the ability to play anything, and HV hasn't seen all the tank love throughout a lot of stuff, but is going to be put on tank gear. Wait,
I don't think I've ever actually seen HV play tank in a match.
I think I've seen him play it once.
HV Reinhardt.
Of course.
Both teams playing Reinhardt.
So
Let's go.
a bit of the HV lore. I hope this isn't like exposing anything. He had an alt account where he only played tank. And he only played Reinhardt, I think, specifically. So that's where I think that's where he's going to be drawing on some of his skill set, to say the least.
Yeah, I'll respect only lock in the Ryan. That's what I do in my ranked games. My teammates aren't too happy about that in ranked, but I try my best.
Hey, say what you want about Ryan in this meta, but Ryan on KR, great pick in my opinion.
It really is. Staple Ryan map.
Staple Ryan map. Got a little
Fedora
strategy too.
Fedora on Mei too. Like, Fedora not traditionally known as a Mei player, but Fedora is definitely can flex onto these other flex DPS picks. But gets taken down by Mikey though right away.
And that was a good wall, but obviously not an ideal wall to start that fight because Purple Jesus was just able to collapse on the rest of the team, and Mort's right there for PJ, right at the right time from Sly. That's the proficiency of putting Sly on the support. He's just so good at it. And now they might even be able to take out Nort. I don't know if they're gonna cap before Nort gets the close spawn or not, but they took the point extremely easily there.
Yeah, very fast take. Chinchillas definitely seem way more confident on this look, so we'll see if they can continue this momentum that they've gained from themselves. But
and
yeah,
PJ,
Shatter already
yeah.
and Shatter and Window already, so that's kind of big.
Yeah, as long as he keeps getting healed up, I mean, he is basically unstoppable. It's going to be all on the side of, like, Nort to just burn out that shield and Fedora to hit these really good walls. But they're actually going to give the window over to the Bastion, and that's going to deal out so much damage. You can see Purple Jesus just explodes, and the rest of the Chinchillas have to back up now. They have to just retreat.
Yeah, that wall from Fedora was huge. Completely cut off Purple Jesus from the rest of his team. They use a window to solidify the fight, and they instantly kill him. And then even more staggers as Fedora kills Riddle Dog with a nice headshot.
And I'm not really sure on the side of the Foxes, but this might also be one of the first times that they're running a composition like this. HV on tank, as you said, I haven't seen it. Fedora on DPS, obviously they've done some of that before, but HV, Shatter, gets mostly blocked but finds Charbotron with it straight into the window as well. The artillery strike out from Nort Logic as well. That's just going to force out a lamp. But the picks are still falling on the side of the Moonlit Foxes. I don't know if they're going to be able to find Riddle as he does back out, but still doing a great hold on this first choke point.
Yeah, Purple Jesus tried to go to like the right stair area, try and I can't remember who they were chasing, but Bastion was still down the main choke and just had an insane off angle on the Rhine. So Chinchillas got to be careful of that. Like the Bastion's just so hard to deal with as Rhine. Usually just want to kite out the form. Blizzard comes out.
Yeah, and that's just to isolate Purple Jesus. The entire team from the Chinchillas wanted to try and go towards that high ground, but very good Blizzard, which makes them rethink their decision there entirely. Tires out from Riddle Dog. I don't believe it
only
finds
gets
anything.
the shield, I think.
Yeah, it gets a lot of space for Purple Jesus to take, though.
Yeah. I mean the tire, like you can't just like stand around doing like the same as you would do in a normal fight when there's a tire active. You gotta like really be careful of the tire because it's just an easy way to one shot like a squishy for sure.
Oh,
So like it creates a lot of space.
Purple Jesus has Shatter in hand on the high ground.
Oh my
sees
gosh.
the team. Could go for the biggest play of all time. Oh, he just pins out. I thought he was gonna jump I thought he was gonna like jump down, like send it. HV Shatter only catches the shield, but Purple Jesus is probably multiple times as better as he's just gonna go through the entire team, pins in, finds Ninja Drew, cleans up the whole fight. Strudel just on high ground. No heals to fend for himself as he falls.
Big play by Purple Jesus. Big Shatter. The good thing for the Moonlight Foxes is they do have support ults. They can definitely like put in a window here, prevent their movement any further, and like try and whittle down the time bank as much as they can. This is definitely the point where you can whittle down the time bank. Window comes out. Purple Jesus does get Fedora though.
And that's a crazy fire strike. That's sort of on the back of a real nice grenade from Riddle Dog there, but Sly goes down, and I think that's going to halt the Chinchilla's progress a lot more. When you don't have your Baptiste, it's so hard to push in towards these fights.
Beat comes in too.
And HV gets a really good counter pin onto Purple Jesus. He's able to push the aggression here, but I think they're only going to be rewarded with a single pick.
Yeah, but if you look at the Chinchilla's ult bank, they have a ton of ults to work with. It's going to be very hard for the Foxes to hold this position. They do have a Bastion ult, so if they can get a good pick, maybe they have a chance. Overclock does come out from Mikey, though. Lamp's already used. Big Shatter.
That Shatter is huge. Really opens up that fight. Without that, they wouldn't have had much, but Beat used on top of it as well. They just dumped 3 ults into the fight, and Moonlight Foxes are coming up on a lot here.
They will have to play a little bit slower, though, because Purple Jesus did get picked off that fight. He is back now, though, so.
Yeah, and they have the advantage right now. I think you might just go here. You might just dump the 2 ults you have left. See if you can win the fight, because still down 1 on the other side.
Nice window.
Finally, Fedora gets back.
Both teams using window.
And Riddle's still holding on to this tire. Just deciding when to use it, but I don't think it's going to be this fight. It's an amazing overclock from Fedora Master. Cleans up 3 alone in that fight. But that was, again, 3 ultimates to win a fight. Like, is it worth it at the end of the day?
I mean, potentially they do have Shatter, so that is something they can utilize. But Real Dog with the tire could be massive. I mean, getting just 1 pick with a tire could definitely change the fight completely. As Nort using Bastion turret early here, definitely a lot of more pressure.
Oh, and HV has a massive Shatter, sends Purple Jesus to the Shadow Realm. Gets both the supports low, sustained up through the lamp, but now lamp's gone. Is HV seeing if he can create any space? Can't seem to find any just yet, though.
Yeah, now both teams don't really have any ults to work with this next fight. Closest is a Mikey overclock, which could actually come in clutch in the mid fight. Yeah, we'll see both teams kind of just poking a bit. Now they start to brawl on the carts. Foxes do have a lot of space to work with though, and it's last fight as well.
Yeah, and Mikey's actually gonna pop that overclock. Strudel has the window though to counter that out, and Ninja Drew's holding on to the beat as well. HV, big trade? Maybe? Who knows? Sly does a window of his own. Ninja Drew with the only left standing ultimate in this fight. The Charvatron does manage to find that touch, but gets shut down there. Riddle Dog finds the trade. The Chinchillas need somebody to touch the point here. It's going to be Purple Jesus coming back. Hits the shatter onto HV. Shuts him down.
Oh no. It was a big shatter from Purple Jesus. Ninja Drew kind of held on the beat a little too long though. Like, I like to seen it used a lot earlier. That could have actually been enough to keep the hold going for the Moonlight Foxes, but overall their defense was pretty good. Getting the time bank to 0 on Kings is pretty good. Now all they have to do is they have to cap with time, and they can like take this into like they can go to overtime rounds, and that could be a win condition.
They
for
will
them.
be set up fairly solid in the overtime rounds if they can cap with time. It's just a question of how did they it's just like how do they go through this first point, because the Chernobyl Chinchillas obviously had that really quick first take. They took it in record speed, about 30 seconds they got through that point. So I need to see the Moonlight Foxes pull off some heroics on the first point here to get through this hold.
Yeah.
Plan to win.
So
Or expect to lose.
looking at the comps, nothing really different. Fedora is on the Sojourn though. I think they were on that. Weren't they on that the last point?
Fedora, yeah, he swapped over it onto the last point. Obviously,
Yeah,
having
I
the
remember.
Sojourn to
Yeah.
hold those high ground angles is very helpful on the last point compared to the May. Not very many good wall setups you can go for.
Yeah, so it looks like the same look from that last point. So Mikey has a good angle on the high ground. Gonna be hard for the Foxes to deal with that angle. Purple Jeets is just holding the statue a little bit. Nort does bash and turret up though, so.
Oh, and picks go both ways here. HV goes for the pin. Bit of a miss there, as they now have a bit of an advantage with Charvatron gone on one side, but Purple Jesus does manage to find HV.
Yeah, nice start for the Chernobyl Chinchillas. Sly is close to a window. Getting fast windows as a Baptiste is like very good, because that is just window is so good at just like the 9 space. Like the Rhine can't walk when there's a window, and it can actually be used as an opposite, as a way to push your team through an area. So,
and he's up on this high ground too. You can see him he could just give this to Purple Jesus completely. Does manage to hit the lamp onto PJ, keep him up within this fight. Purple Jesus dropping insanely low, but nothing found just yet. If they just keep trying to push into this Junkrat spam, eventually HV's shield's gonna burn down, and the war of attrition will be temporarily won for Chernobyl Chinchillas. Purple Jesus now has the shatter, looking for the right time to use it. Does get the block, maybe, onto HV, and HV explodes there. Window comes in, though. Purple Jesus is just going to try to disrespect it, push into the turret form. Again, dropping insanely low, but kept up by Sly, popping the window to sustain the team up. It was a very slow fight. Only 2 picks found, but Chernobyl Chinchillas still have the aggression and have the win condition.
yeah, and if we start looking at the ults, it's looking very good for the Chinchillas. They have a lot of good ults that they can cycle through here. They can overclock mid-fight. They can tire whenever. They have a shattered that they can pull out. Bastion ult comes up, doesn't really get much of anything though.
PJ with the shatter. That's gonna hit stuff. At least force out the window. Maybe not find a pick. yet, but Mikey now looking with this overclock. Beat to counter it out. It's going to be massive. And they're all just going to jump onto Mikey, but Mikey finds the headshot. Fedora with the overclock as well, too, though. Doing his best to sustain towards the point. North still up with this Bastion pressure. Realize there's multiple within Hotel just sustaining on the point. Almost 2 ticks are given, but the picks are siding in the way of the Chernobyl Chinchillas. As Purple Jesus gets back, Charbitron's right there with him, and they're gonna keep it only to 1 tick.
Yeah, that's very nice win by the Chinchillas, and both teams coming up on window. Obviously, Sly has his first, and looks like Foxes are going in aggressively. Mike does kill North though.
Yeah, the window's going to be mirrored against each other. Purple Jesus with a pin onto HV, giving Chernobyl Chinchillas an advantage in this potentially last fight towards the point. Fedora finds 2 though on that switch over onto the Junkrat, but it's not going to be the damage that you need. They find 1 tick on the point, but the numbers advantage is still on the side of the Chinchillas. 2 players still need to respawn, looking at the only ult in the fight being Charbitron with that beat.
Yeah, and that's going to be very massive. Having a beat advantage could be very good. They do have a Shatter coming up, though. That could actually clutch it up.
The Shatter,
and they hit it on Charb.
Does find Charbitron, but they got to call the targets, and Purple Jesus is just running through the entire team there.
Purple Jesus killing everyone.
Cleans up everybody. That's a team kill, and that's a map win for the Chernobyl Chinchillas.
Yeah, fairly decisive on the defense. The Chinchillas have a good hold on first, and now the series is 1-1. So very nicely done by them to.
Yeah, and I feel like the Chernobyl Chinchillas definitely finding their roles. We talk about Purple Jesus coming in here as literally just, it's like you sign the contract and then you're in the next day, you know, you're hopping out of the field, you don't know what's going to happen, but shows up massive for his team there. So now we have the Fox's map pick going into the control map.
Yeah, he's showing up very big for the Chinchillas. And map 3 control, and that's gonna be another good map for honestly all those maps in the control pool are really good for Reinhardt, so we'll see if they decide to keep that look. I could also see, like, depending on the map, going like a different kind of brawl, like a Ramattra or like a Orisa actually with some new buffs very recently, so
That's one of the interesting things. If you're a team that favors Reinhardt, and I want to get your opinion on this as well. Like, you can realize the order of the map pool, realize, okay, if we lose map 1, we're going to be able to force KR, and then the other team has to effectively give us a sprawl Rhine favorable map, you know? Because it's any type of control map. Most control maps, Rhine is favorable, so you can sort of use that to swing an advantage forward in a map.
Yeah, and definitely having the ability to pick a map, like if you lose if you lose your last round and you can pick your map, it's very nice. Especially if you play like a lot of Ryan comps, or you play a lot of like dive comps, to have the ability to select the map that favors your style the most. And it also, and if teams are able to flex around different comps, that can be good as well. So just having good maps all around can be very beneficial for your team with how you play. So
yeah, we'll have
Antarctic
to see.
is the next map, so.
And North's going to be going back over onto the tank, HV on the DPS, and Ninja Drew in as well.
Yeah, it looks like Chinchillas. I don't think they've no swaps. Okay.
Oh wait, there are swaps. Ninja Drew now out. They're going to be going back to the comp that worked on map 1. I gotta say, Prod R.
Yeah. So with Norton, maybe no longer playing Reinhardt based comps, or maybe they just want HV to be in on DPS for certain heroes that they like to play on this map.
Mm-hmm.
Nort, I do remember seeing him on Ramatra, which Ramatra is very good on this map, so we might see that. Purple Jesus still on the tank. So, and yeah, it looks this roster that they fielded for Kings for the Chinchillas worked very well. So we can see if they can kind of do the same on Antarctic Peninsula. So we'll have to see. First map looks to be this indoor. This is called sub-level, I think. If I remember
I
correctly.
think it's something with level. I remember that at least. Sorry, I'm trying to give us a score graphic too. Score. Or here, score right.
Yeah, it looks like Nort is on the Ramatra. Transflex Sombra. Oh yeah, Transflexin as well. Transflex Sombra. Sombra can. I'm very high on Sombra right now. I mean, Dive isn't necessarily meta with like the current state of the game, but Sombra got a very nice change to EMP with the 3-second duration, so it could be very good.
Yeah,
Especially when comboed with other abilities and ults. So
this is sort of what they're running on the first map as well. Worked out pretty well for them there, so we'll have to see as I stop messing with the score and actually go into the match. As you predicted, this is the Nort logic on the Ramata ta-ta-ta, but it's actually going to be Mikey who finds the first pick in the fight. Nort trying to sustain point near the bottom, finally gets his shield back up, which is getting burned by Purple Jesus. As you manage to clean him up there. Now they're just going to be hunting the support line in the Sombra of the Moonlight Foxes. The Chernobyl Chinchillas are going to be able to cap this first point.
yeah, very nicely done. Yeah,
Yeah.
So it looks like. Sorry, I can't think of anything to say.
No, don't worry. I'm caught up prodding as well. I think it's interesting. They're keeping Riddle over on the DPS here and Sly on the support, which is obviously different from map 1, but it is what worked out on map number 2. As North's just engaging onto the back line, but gonna be able to find multiple picks there as well. Takes down Sly.
That's a big rush in.
Yeah. And it's like when you have a support line, this is one of the things that I'm finding. When you have a support line that's just this coordinated in Fedora and Strudel, you can call rushes like that for your tank and open up a ton of space. That was really good by them of just like taking an advantage and just going with it, just full steam ahead. Now Nort has the Annihilation he can use, and Strudel with the window as well, so they're going to be the first ones with ultimates in these fights.
Yeah, the Annihilation is a really good sustained mid fight or good to start early in the fight. Looks like he's gonna go in now.
Oh, and Strudel with a great pre-immortality field and breaks the tire of Riddle Dog there. Massive picks. Nort just trying to sustain. Eventually falls, but the picks are still on the side of the Foxes. They're just able to clean up so well.
Riddle Dog with a nice exit pick, but gets taken down by Fedora. And yeah, they basically only need to use the Ramatra ult. Ramatra being very powerful. They get a few picks with that, and they just snowball the fight from there. Riddle Dog now in the May.
There's an early window here from Strudel. He's going to force Purple Jesus back, and Nort Logic is going to follow that aggression, but the May pick's coming in, and you can see why it's there. They wall off Nort Logic, open up for the rampage of Purple Jesus. The beat effects finally subside, and Purple Jesus is inside the backline of the Foxes, trying to look for any picks he can find, but gets shut down by Nort.
Looks like they're capping the point, though. They do get a sneaky cap from the bottom. Big EMP, though. Charba is alone on point.
Yeah, and Charb has beat, but doesn't want to invest it here. They still have a chance for one more fight. I think that's actually a fairly decent flip for their Chernobyl Chinchillas, even though they might have lost a bit of time or a bit of their lives there. They did manage to get the point over, and they are going to manage to get a last contest for sure.
I mean, yeah, that's massive. That's massive. They could definitely come in with a beat, go hard, try and get on a target, and like snowball the fight into a win, and they'll have a lot more percentage. It looks like they're sneakily capping again.
Yeah, but Mikey gets hacked out, and this is so easy for them to engage on. Real Dog has to use the wall to just get his team out. And now it's going to be a battle of the ultimates. It's going to be Charvajon who hits the beat first. Mikey trying to capitalize on that. Jump on Strudel. It's the entire team just jumping up on Strudel, seeing if they can find the pick there. Real Dog throws in the Blizzard. Finds a couple towards point. That's at least going to zone the point out for the time being. The flip does go back in the favor of the Foxes, though.
Just Riddle Dog on point, and without Ice Block, there's nothing much more you can do. It's Wrecking Ball now, trying to stall out a bit more. Beat comes in.
Yeah, but they have so many ults, and Mikey's the only one who has a chance to really make a big play here with the overclock. But I don't think he's even going to get a chance to get... Oh, he does get it! Wait. Oh, no. Nobody's on point. Almost works, but unfortunately not.
Yeah, I mean that was really good. That's a really good start for the Foxes. They look a lot more. They look a lot better on this Ramatra-based composition with the Sombra and the Sojourn. So.
Yeah, and you saw even the Chernobyl Chinchillas made the swap over onto their Ramatra just because they were having trouble dealing with it on the Junker Queen, at least.
So yeah, it looks like it's gonna be mirrored, but I would favor the backline of the Foxes with the Baptiste. It's just way better suited for the Ramatra comp than the Ana. But a Bastion, though, and a Mei can be annoying to deal with from the Chinchillas.
Yeah, there's a big difference in the style of composition here. You have the Chernobyl Chinchillas composition, which is very based on an opening, you know? You find a pick, and then you can explode. You find a good wall, and you can explode. You find a good ante, and you can explode, right? But it's very, very team-based, whereas the Foxes, they can just, like, call a team and just try to run them over.
Yeah, another difference is the levels of sustain. So with the Ana comp, you definitely want to get a nade, and you want to collapse on that target as fast as you can with the nade, and that could lead to fast fights. But if they're not fast, the Baptiste just has way more sustain than the Ana. So, but yeah, they went pretty fast this first fight, and they got control of the point 30%.
Now, Moonlight Foxes looking to recontest this. They are going to be able to get the flip, and with a good hack from Transflect, find that pick onto Purple Jesus. Didn't have anything to really sustain during that fight. Transflect is opening up with a lot of massive hacks that the rest of the team just can dive onto. Slide does find Fedora before he falls, though. I think that's going to be better for the Moonlight Foxes because they have the quicker reset.
Yeah. Fedora can definitely come back pretty fast since he's the Lucio. Yeah, he's already back. Looks like it's gonna be a big ult fight this next fight. Window out first. That's good to like slow down the Chinchillas, but Purple Jesus just walks through anyway with a nano.
And now they're gonna be able to collapse on towards the point. Multiple ults used. Feels like an entire ult bank is being dropped right here. And Riddle does manage to blizzard off the point and finish out this fight. It's just Fedora towards the backside, but I don't think he's going to be found anytime soon with his speed, as he manages to reconvene with his team and get some pickups.
So both teams use 3 ults, but I actually favor the ult exchange from the Chinchillas more. They do have the Annihilation from the Ramatra, but so that should be a pretty easy way to keep controlled through the mid fight. Bastion ult 2 comes out early.
A very early Bastion ult, but they're gonna have the annihilation from PJ as well, putting down so much pressure. Finds 2, but it's Transflag 2, trades him back out. Fight's still going in the favor of the Chernobyl Chinchillas though, as they do clean up house.
Yeah, that EMP was pretty big, but unfortunately the damage was already done. Purple Jesus already killed, I think, 2 already before that EMP went off. So that was a very nice fight win, and now the ults are pretty much even, and with Chinchillas control of the point.
And Mikey with the form trying to burn down whoever he can find. But there's no targets they can kill down just yet. As Fedora actually grabs the first pick, that's massive. Gives him a chance on towards this point. Mikey trying to stay alive but doesn't find anything there. As North's just cleaning up the fight, finishes off those last picks. They do have the point, but I don't know if they're close enough to this window or any ultimates in fact, for it to matter that much. The Sly with the Nano is definitely going to hit first here.
Yeah, Nano into Ramatran like they did the last fight could be big. The Foxes need to predict this, and I need to be ready to kite that out. They want the fight to last as long as they can so they can build out ults. Here comes a Nano and the Bastion turret. But Strudel gets caught out. That's a disaster.
There is going to be an annihilation from Nort. Just trying to find anything on towards the point. HV is there to get some sustain. Nort does manage to find Sly though. It's just an absolute brawl onto the point. As I try to find who's still alive in the fight. And it looks like the Chernobyl Chinchillas do take it.
Yeah, and you can look, if you see the ults on the Fox's side, if they were able to kite out that engage from the Chinchillas, they definitely would have had a very good shot at holding the point with those ults that they built up. But Strudel getting caught out early was not ideal, and yeah, Chinchilla snowballed from there. So now we're 1-1 on Antarctic. So yeah, it looks like the comps are the same comps. Mikey though on the Sojourn now. But Foxes, they seem to have like the same comp that they've been playing.
Yep, and it's interesting. Riddle's trying to stand. We're gonna stay on the May here. I would say this is a more Junkrat favored point. There's not many places you can wall, but I mean, if the other team goes from this high ground, I mean, you have this one choke point that is the wallable choke point in this game, so you can definitely get a lot of value with that. But Nort is the first one to find a pick, and he's just like running in, getting a pick, then running out, just back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, and it's working out well for them. Riddle has to wall back here.
Yeah, Nort is just playing very confident right now on the Ramatcha. And you kind of can play that confident when you have Strudel Fedora as your backline. Just keeps you up through these pushes, and yeah, he gets a lot of value off of those Ramatcha Nemesis form pushes. So both teams trying to engage and take control of this high ground positioning above the point.
And I guess the wall is spreading a lot of value towards this high ground here. HV and Transflex with an amazing assassination there onto Mikey. They're just going to go around the back and say, okay, Chernobyl Chinchillas, you want the high ground, we can give it to you, but we'll just flip the point all the way around. And now we're playing on the opposite side of things. They still have the advantage in this fight. And it's Nort with another massive pick there.
Both teams are just flipping the maps over and over again, but it's going in the favor of the Foxes. Nort going very aggressive, and is gaining a lot of value. HV gets a pick on Charb. And yeah, I mean, Chinchillas haven't really been able to get anything going so far. And the next fight's going to be a big ult fight. They got to win this fight if they want to have any chance of coming back in this map.
Yeah, but they're going to be walking into an overclock window, potentially. Window does come out first. It's going to be the overclock from HV, trying to utilize the angle of that window to find a pick. Actually, no overclock from HV, just natural positioning. Now the overclock does come in. Looking down the window of Sly. Trying to find whatever he can here, but doesn't find any picks. Just sitting towards the backside of point here. Mikey now comes in with the overclock and the annihilation from Purple Jesus as well.
Yeah, and that was very well played. They got out 4 ults from the Foxes. For the cost of only 3. So they'll have 2 ults to work with here, the Beat and the May Blizzard. Transflick does have an EMP. That could be big if they could get a good push off of that. But the Beat, if Charbatron's able to avoid the EMP and can get the Beat off, that would be a big play and shutting that ult down.
Yeah, that's the only ult they have to worry about, so it's on Charbatron. They gotta be very hyper aware here, make sure that they're sustaining for themselves and for the rest of their team in this fight. The Foxes do manage to grab the high ground, but it's just to set up HV on this very oppressive position. The EMP does come in, and it does get beated. So the Chinchillas are able to sustain in this fight.
That's exactly what we want Chinchillas to do, but Riddle Dog gets picked off by HV. Window comes out too, and they just completely zone out the point. Slide with the window, it's just a little too late though.
Yeah, and now it's just on the Foxes to really just clean up this point. They managed to find multiple picks and do manage to turn the point back over in their favor. PJ on the ball to see if they can even find the touch here. And somebody manages to get it towards the point. That's actually Riddle to swap over, but they can't touch, and Foxes take map 3.
Yeah, very nicely done from the Foxes. That map, you can see that they are very, very confident in their composition that they're playing, and Nort was just going crazy on the Ramatra. Like look at these ults that he's been having, just getting right in their face and just punching them and winning good fights off of that. So yeah, Foxes are now 2-1.
Yeah, now we're going to be moving into the hybrid map. And this is where the swaps are going to really matter, because Chinchillas obviously got their map pick on map 2, and it came out favorable for them. Now they have, escort map. And now they have their pick of the escort map that they want.
Yeah, and another important thing to think about is both teams will have to sub in their 6th player for this 4th map. So Skyster will have to be subbed in for Chinchillas, and I think Foxes have to sub in Ninja Drew. So
I always find that real interesting. If it I feel like you have to plan around that to a certain extent, because you're basically choosing what map your effective 6th man is going to be on. They're by default choosing that they're going to have to be on the 4th one as well. I don't know. It's always weird to plan around. Unless you 3-0 people all the time, then it's easy. Then you just do your thing. Just be the numbies, you know. Always go for the 3-0 or the raccoons.
It looks like Skyster going on DPS, at least for the Chinchillas, and Sly will be taken out for at least this map. So it'll be interesting to see still what they pick. Like, usually escort pretty good for dive, pretty good for poke comps as well, depending on the map. So
yeah, they haven't made their map switch, but they have made their composition pick, which is interesting. They actually haven't run this composition yet. They have had Skyser on tank and PJ on DPS, but not the other way around. So this is brand new for them.
And I don't think Skyster... I think this is Skyster's first time playing DPS this season for the Chinchillas. I may be wrong about that, but I'm fairly sure it is. So we'll see what Skyster brings to the table as a DPS for the Chinchillas. So, still deciding their map.
Yeah, what are the hybrid maps even? Or what are the escort? I keep confusing hybrid and escort. What are their choices here?
I'll check real
I
quick.
think Havana's on the pool.
Yeah, I think Havana for sure.
Oh, Route 66 is in the pool because that's what they picked. But
is it in match times? I think. Yeah, it is. Havana, Rialto, Route 66, and Watchpoint Gibraltar are the
yeah,
escort.
I think it's good to not go to a dive-heavy map, especially when you have Transflect and Nort who can swap that like Winston Sombra or Diva Sombra. I like this pick because Root they can probably just run a Sig comp and a Orisa comp and just sustain towards the point.
Yeah, this map is honestly not too favorable for Ryan, or I guess not Ryan, but for Brawl base comps, but Poke can definitely be ran on this map. Like second point, dealing with a Widowmaker at second point can be very hard. On Route 66. Hello, Panini.
Hello.
Welcome to the cast / prod / whatever this is.
Why are they singular nouns?
Where which?
It's Fox versus Chinchilla. Why are there only one of them?
I don't know, man.
Who would do you think is the Fox and who is the Chinchilla?
On
Is it like one of their
each team?
players? Yeah. Is it one of their players or is it like a third person, like a third party?
Like you'd assume it's the captain of the team, right? Like
Oh.
the Fox and the Chinchilla. It's gotta be the captain, right?
Possibly.
Possibly.
I could see it.
For Panini and for all you folks just joining us, this is going into the fourth maps. The Foxes hold a 2-1 lead over the Chernobyl Chinchillas. Map choice of the Chinchillas was Route 66. And Foxes are still, I think, deciding on who they want to put in. Obviously, they need to have Ninja Drew in here, but it's a question of, do you want Fedora to go over to tank? Do you want HV to go over to tank? Do you want Nort to go over to tank? And it looks like they are going to stick with that Nort tank, but put Fedora onto the DPS. They cooked, apparently. Allegedly. They cooked.
This is actually a very interesting comp that they're pulling out. Strudel subbing himself out.
Drew is a very capable support, especially on like his signature Ana.
Yeah. I didn't realize that Strudel subbed himself out. Usually you just see the Transflect for Ninja Drew swap, but apparently they cooked.
Yeah, we'll see what they pull out. Transflect also fairly good at the support as well as the DPS. On the Hogs, he went hard on the Kiriko when
I was on that team.
Yeah, that was a good team. I miss that team.
Yeah, Transflect is like he's actually pretty good on across all roles. Like they actually have Transflect on the I'm assuming they'd run on a Brig with this. On a Mercy. Ooh.
They cooked though, we gotta trust.
Fedora Master on the signature Torb pick. So that's gonna be interesting to see. Looks like they're on defense first. So Torb turrets definitely gonna be annoying to deal with for the attacker.
Yeah, I think that's why this is like such a good swapping Transflect onto the DPS, because you have a Torb heavy map and not a Sombra heavy map, so give the Torb man what he wants, you know?
Yeah. And so yeah, both teams ran looks like dive compositions. The dive is better for the Chinchillas, but the poke and brawl potential is better for the Foxes. So we'll see how that kind of plays out.
The Torb is really fun here because he's basically going to be playing like the Brig. He's going to play a lot more for peel because you're going to have Ninja Drew and HV playing their own angles here. He's going to try to peel the Ana.
And Purple Jesus jumping in. He's taking a lot of fire from this turret, which is obviously on such a good angle. Really, really hard to shut down. HV is going to be the first one to find a pick, and We got a sleep onto Purple Jesus on the high ground. HV's just trying to duel it and shut it down, and with that pocket from Ninja Drew, does manage to do so. Fedora picks up 2 on the point, and that's going to cause a halt to the Chernobyl Chinchillas' progress.
Yeah, Fedora was on a pretty nice off angle on the left, or like the right side of the defense area. Just completely guarding that top flank with his turret and with just a nice off angle to carts, so. So Purple Jesus gets slept. Woken up immediately by the turret. Has to back out.
Oh, and Purple Jesus actually manages to find the pick onto Nord. Mikey goes for the duplicate. It's onto an Ana. Despite not having a tank on their side, but these guys are... Mikey
Riddle
just able
with
to
2.
create a lot of space for the team.
Yeah, nice play by Riddle, getting 2. And yeah, they're pushing this in. They should be able to cap this first area.
With no like really support ult, the Nano Blade could be like insane. They might also not even combo it. They might just Nano the Winston and then Blade in a separate fight.
Yeah, I could definitely see him doing that too, because Purple Jesus is very close to the Primal. So Nano could be good to just get him in there, charge up the Nano with the, or charge up the Primal with the Nano. And just go, like, get a very aggressive dive going.
I'm not a big fan of this Sigma against, like you said, this aggressive dive. I think it's a decent comp, but I don't like the matchup very well.
PJ is going to be the receiver of the Nano. Mikey goes in as well with a focusing beam to find 2.
Mikey...
PJ also complementing with the Primal Rage. I'm not sure if that was all necessary for the one fight, but they do manage to find almost all of the team. They do force out Nort Logic, send him back towards spawn.
Yeah, and this next fight is a must-win for the Foxes to get a good hold on this defense. You start losing this next fight, you're in a lot of trouble. Blade comes out early from Skyster though.
Ooh,
massive pick.
that's got that overclock.
He does get shut down there, but I don't know if that's too little too late, because I don't think Fedora is going to be the one you're sending to point to contest here. This Purple Jesus just jumps in without a care in the world. Fedora finds that trade as well, but eventually gets picked back up by Mikey. And HV now swapping over, Nort swapping as well. They allegedly cooked with their composition, but I'm not seeing much cooking right now from the Chernobyl Chinchillas, or from the Foxes. Sorry, Foxes.
I think the D.Va's a good swap into the Winston, but now PJ swaps off the Winston onto the Sigma. So this is I think this is a very good comp on this point for the Chinchillas here.
Yeah, and you have the ability to put pressure onto the Echo, onto the Mercy. You have a lot of targets, but what do you have to sell the point in this composition? The D.Va goes, like, the D.Va can go down, obviously, but not when they're 1 HP. Getting pressured out by the entirety of the Chernobyl Chinchillas. The Nano just gets dropped onto Nort to try and open up some space, but the cart's been moving this entire time. Both Mercies are traded out. Nort just trying to go for the rest of the support line, but the guys just been popping off on this point.
I mean, they're kind of backcapping on Nort. And yeah, very one-sided fights here, and yeah, they eventually cap with 3 minutes in 26 seconds in the time bank. Very nicely done by the Chinchillas.
0 to 3. Switching sides.
And
Initiating switch.
Yeah, I really want to see the Foxes change something up here. I don't even know what I would do if I was in their position.
yeah, it just feels
The Winston on attack here is very good, but I think Nort just usually prefers the D.Va. I don't know.
Yeah, it just feels like they weren't really ready for what the Chinchillas threw at them, and they kind of just got snowballed that entire round. But looks like Nort will be on the Monkey, at least potentially to start.
I don't think seen a ton of Nort Monkey, but I think he is actually pretty comfortable on that too. I could see this working pretty well. He played Monkey for a little bit and then swapped off and then went back to the Diva.
They're literally just taking the exact same starting composition that the Chernobyl
Yeah,
Chinchillas did, and
true,
they're like,
true
oh, it worked
actually.
for that, it worked for us, maybe, perhaps, possibly.
Again,
Yeah.
I really like this like hyper aggressive dive comp into Sigma comps. Riddle Dog is on BAP too instead of the Ana, so he has a little bit more sustain if he does get dove. But I still think like it's a pretty good comp to be diving here. A lot of really good dive targets here.
Just going for a bit of sustain on the point. Realize the composition on the other side is that Ashe that they're running on the third point, plus the Sigma, so definitely a lot of chances here, but HV is actually going to be the first one shut down in the fight. Ninja actually trying to stick the res, but Mikey's going to shut that down so quick.
Yeah, I thought part of what they were doing too is since they're attacking and they don't really need to go in for these fights, you can just, if you're attacking, you can just place over this Nano and then Nano your Winston or your Genji in. I think they got a little bit too greedy and got caught out there. HV off of the Echo onto the Soldier. Looks for I think he's just looking for an answer for this Mikey Echo here.
Yeah, you definitely want to be playing a lot slower, but when you do find the opening, you want to play fast to get the kill. But yeah, Mikey, nice pick onto Fedora. Gets Nord as well.
The res does come in, but just gonna be to save a bit of the staggers from coming through. And now we're entering a fights where you start to get ults online. But Moonlight Foxes, they don't really care. They need to find out something that works. So they're going to be swapping over onto the Ashe, at some point in time, they made that swap onto the Soldier. The dive just wasn't working, so they need to find something else. It's really shut
like,
down.
I don't think those are terrible swaps, but with the Monkey, like, I don't think you stay Monkey with this. It's just, like, a really awkward comp, because the Monkey goes in and no one really can go in with him.
Like, even if you're close to even if you're close to it, yeah, you gotta swap off, and you see that's exactly what Nort's gonna do there. He's gonna make the swap over onto the Sigma, and I think that's a good, favorable mirror, because now you can look to pick the Echo, pick the Mercy before the fight even begins.
I also know that Transflect is pretty comfortable on BAP, so I could see him swapping over to a BAP, and then maybe even swapping Drew over to Zen, running like a BAP Zen comp here.
I want to see a Nano Visor come out from the Foxes. That could be open up the fight. I almost have the Visor, so...
So many ults for the Chinchillas, though. This is just so tough.
And the Flux catches 3, I think. It's massive.
Yeah.
And that's just a fight win right there. They only used one ult, and just instant fight win.
Ults look pretty even at the moment now. You're kind of fine with that if you're the Foxes, gain out that Flux for not using anything, because now the ult balance is a little more even on your side. So yeah,
the problem is there's so little time left.
Like they can win this next fight, but like... Here it is. Obliterates Geyser instantly, but can he find another target? He's trying to run down Charvatron on the Mercy. Gets the pick onto the support line, but manages to get traded out there by Mikey. And now Mikey with the duplicate instantly gets destroyed there. Both Mercies are down, so they don't have the chance to pop out the Velks just yet in this fight.
I think especially they can stagger PJ here. I think he gets out.
Looks like Chinchillas will have another touch. They can get their Sigma down. They might have to Valk in though. Oh, I don't know. They got it. Okay.
Fedora drops the Bob, but gets pressured instantly. Almost drops extraordinarily low in that fight. Riddle manages to shut down the Bob. It's Nort with the Flux, seeing if he can find any. Does manage to get the support line with that, and the Foxes manages to eke out this point in overtime, giving them another 2.5 minutes to get to the second point and effectively complete this map too.
PJ was like a frame off of canceling that Flux. The Rog came out and stunned Nort, but I think it was right after his ult had gone off. So very close to
Yeah.
canceling that flux could have been really big, but I think still the Chinchillas are in a pretty good position here.
And look, the Chinchillas, they make the swap. When stuff isn't working, just apparently swap to Winston, Genji, Echo, you know?
Yeah. It's good
I mean,
that they're very, they're committed to it, too. Like, they full swap everyone.
Yeah, they didn't have many ults too. I don't think they had any ults actually. So it's now that would be the perfect time, if any, to swap your comp to something more favored to deal with the enemy comp.
And at this rate, they can build up ults before the Moonlight Foxes get to the next point, so they have a lot of good space, and they're going to be able to stagger Nerd here.
Again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just this is just so tough for the Foxes to deal with because now the comp that the Chinchillas is running like directly counters the comp they want to run with the poke. So and then they don't have much time, so they can't swap their composition. They just have to make do with the comp they got. So it'll be interesting to see how they make it work if they can.
Nanovisor coming up actually could be big, but there's so many ults on the Chinchillas here.
Yeah, they send the Nano onto PJ, and they send PJ onto the back line, and PJ's just putting in work back there. Catches out Fedora, and Riddle finds Nort here, and this is the point in time where it's like, okay, we have HV and Ninja Drew in the back line. At this point, we just gotta die, give up, and go for this last fight. Nanovisor is their win condition here, but into a Blade, into a Duplicate, and almost gonna be into a Valk as well. It's going to be on HV with this hero play.
Yeah, that might give Nort and Ninja Drew enough time to build their own ults just by using the Nanovisor and getting some space off of it. If I was them, I'd be using that to try to shut down the Blade.
And he does find the pick onto the Blade. The Blade gets activated, but absolutely beamed out of the sky. And the Duplicate gets deleted as well, but HV pays with it with his life. Nort now down on the point, trying to sustain the best he can, looking down Riddle Dog the whole time, but it's both supports on the side of the Chinchillas that just have so much to sustain. The Valk is out by Charbitron. She's keeping the team up, and they're going to be able to take this map, sending us to map number 5.
Let's go, map 5.
Let's go, map 5. Yo, shout out J.E. for saying he wanted to watch this game, for real.
Yeah, I knew this game was going to be very close. Does anyone know how the other game's going?
Both are done. Both were sweeps.
Let's go. We picked the great game to watch.
I realized how scuffed this prod is because I duplicated the scores.
Wait, who won the raccoons one?
Gatos.
Gatos? Ooh.
Yeah.
That's a pretty interesting
Racket
one.
Buster. Only one person was correct in their preds, and that was Sonic Ronic. And the other one, I think everyone picked the Zeniths. Oh, the coin picked the imposters. That doesn't count.
No, the coin counts.
Coin counts?
Coin counts. Yep.
It's like a person now.
Yeah, coin is a person. Coin's the best person, in fact.
I don't know if it's still true, but I checked like the sheet for the predictions. The coin has predicted like the brawlers for like every game. Maybe not the most recent ones. It's kind of crazy.
Wait. Brawlers. That's insane. Where's the other one?
Coin's just a villain's hater, I guess. Who knows?
It did pick the brawlers and the it did pick the brawlers and the villains. So it is 5-0 on picking the brawlers, and then week 6 it picked the brawlers too. There's no way.
You see the coin?
What are the odds of that?
The coin just loves the Berlin brawlers, bro.
0.5 raised to the 6 power. There's a 1.5% chance of that happening.
Let's go.
Here I'm gonna put a pred up. Fox. Put up. So yeah, it looks like Strudel is coming back in. I don't know. I think this is actually. I think they're pretty good about this. So it looks like they're gonna play Fedora Master support.
Yeah, I think that's the solution in my opinion. Like that's the comp that they've been running the entire time. So
okay, yeah, I think it's a pretty good one.
Just a really great backline to have. I mean, we watched like Nort Logic on the Ramatra. he was going crazy on the Ramatra just because he has such good support in Fedora and Strudel. So
Yeah, Nort's very good at. I would say his best 3 tanks are Ramatra, Junker Queen, probably Diva. I'd probably put Diva up there for him too.
Chinchillas looks like they're going back to the. Looks like they're running the same comp actually. Yeah, and they look pretty good on that comp too. So I'll be interested to see what they play. It's Flashpoint.
I
can run-
agree with your take, War. I think New Junk City is better than Suravasa.
Anyways, we got Suravasa as the map here, and you're right. I'm interested to see what both teams run here because now they're on a comp that they have a bit of practice with. You got the PJ versus Nort duel again. Nort's been very proficient on the Ram thus far throughout these maps.
It's a Queen here.
Yeah,
yeah.
Queen though.
I would be shocked if both teams ran a Queen. I think both the Queen and then the backline Kiri Lucio fits both of their support comps incredibly well.
But PJ on the Doomfist.
Super
It's going to be interesting because I wonder, can Riddle Dogs like survive in this composition? The backline
That's what I was
of
wondering too.
Yeah, the backline of the Foxes is like so flexible, and obviously like I think that's one of the best backlines in the league. Riddle Dog obviously one of the best Anas in the league, but when it's Kiri Ana, obviously you get the healing advantage, but Nort's target and Transflex target is going to be on the supports of the Chinchillas, so it's going to be all on the Chinchillas for staying alive in these fights.
Yeah, if the Foxes are able to coordinate here, that could be really devastating for Nort, or not Nort, for Riddle. Oh,
Big
Transflex
punch
down early.
though.
Oh, but the support line just
supports are
explodes.
down. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that on a Curie look. If they're gonna play a dive comp like they're playing, it just doesn't. Yeah, they
here,
swap
and
it,
then
yeah,
PJ
that-
goes Junker Queen, I'm assuming. I think with the DPS line, they can keep the same too. I don't hate Doom here either. I think Doom's
Yeah.
okay.
They technically don't need to switch. You just have to be like following the Doom onto these dives, or
Like they all need to play hyper aggressive and then
Yep.
try to go on the back line. The problem is, I don't know if you go after Fedora Master or HV here. They both have really good escape abilities.
They got the TP out, so they could definitely go on the Kiriko if they can spot him.
and they also forced out the Tracer's weird ability to
Recall.
Yes, I know my Overwatch ability names, guys. I swear.
Oh, Nort might get caught out here.
Transflight kind of got
We did
caught,
it
yeah.
too. Oh, the chills are popping here.
Riddle Dog is popping.
Strudel, I was gonna say, Strudel might be able to stagger it out a little bit, but they're just gonna have to reset there. Like, getting 77% on this first point is actually pretty good. But the problem is these chokes are just so oppressive, and especially against some of the ults that the Chinchillas are running here, it's gonna be really hard to push in.
I think win condition is to play second, like trying to get up the Riddle Dog rush, or like another
And
ult,
like,
and
kite it.
then kite it a bit, and then rush in yourself.
When Skyster
Good
does
pick by Skyster.
get the pick onto HV, that's supported there by Mikey. And now there's ults on both sides. The question is, are they going to be invested?
Oh, it's 4.
The
Suzu
Suzu
closes all of
comes in
it.
clutch, though. And that's really disciplined ult use by the Chinchillas there, only using one ult. For the one ult being the rush
Wait,
of... Rush
I think they
for,
use Meteor Strike too, but it's Meteor Strike, so.
Oh yeah, that's true. Meteor Strike. The Doom Reset ult.
Hog.
Here. Nora goes on the Hog?
I feel like their other comp was way better, but we'll see. I mean, maybe he'll cook with that pick. They do get the touch, but I don't know if they can. They got the
They
beat.
trade.
Yeah, they do
it
trade
is
off the back
winnable.
of Nort here.
It's very winnable.
And Nort with another massive hook there. Finds Sharpatron as well.
Oh, they're using too many ults.
Oh, Nort, hello?
Honestly, that might be worth though. They should be able to cap point.
Yeah, they have the timing here. If they can
If
pick,
they get PJ here, that's huge.
yeah, if they can chase down PJ, they have the hack onto him, and Transflex shuts that down. That's great for the Chernobyl Chinchillas, or for the Moonlight Foxes. It makes it almost uncontestable.
Yeah,
That's
it's
actually
super incontestable. That's a super expensive fight, but it's definitely worth, like...
I mean, that was insane by Fedora Master to go in there, solo beat himself pretty much, and just stall the point out that long until the Hog could get back. It was really good play by him.
This is a good comp to play Hog into. Oh,
Yeah.
and a hack.
Ooh, Skyster does get HP though. So that could open up this point to the Chinchillas.
Yeah, the Chinchillas are actually chinchilling
That's
on the
just a
point.
roll.
PJ jumps up. That's just gonna open up so many picks. Guys are with a quick follow-up. North's just gonna have to die on point here as the Chinchillas do take this cap.
Chinchillas are building up to a really good ult bank here, and especially if they're as disciplined as they have been lately, this could be really rough for the Foxes. But like with Nord on the Hog and with HV with this overclock, like anything could happen for the Foxes. But yeah, it's a tough to go into 4 ults and then almost a blade too.
Chinchillas, they have everything. I mean, it's just a question of what do you use in this fight.
Transflex forces the rotation, then just gets out. Might get caught here. Nort's now on the point.
Yeah, Nord's contesting this point, but there's
Oh,
not
look
very
at
much
PJ.
team with him here.
Oh, they get 2 of the
Ooh,
beats a
nice
little bit
picks.
too late.
Ah, the beat, yeah.
That would have been a really good beat if it just came out a little bit earlier. And then I don't think they even really need to use any ults for the Foxes.
And that's so good. They force out 2 ults and they don't use any. Now they're in a situation where they have all their ults, but no, Fedora, what happened?
He'll get back soon.
Yeah, they gotta chill though. They gotta like chill and back up a bit.
Yeah,
They could.
Chinchillas is 96%, so
Yeah. Chinchillas want to take this fight fast. They realize they have the advantage right now. If they can find the pick here, PJ can sustain towards the point, but Fedora gets back right in time. The beat is perfectly timed, catches almost everybody on the team. But PJ's first one to find a pick. HV now with the overclock onto this high ground. Finds 2 picks, looking for PJ now. Staring down the face of the Doomfist, puts the hands down, and HV gets the pick. So Moonlight Foxes obviously invest 3 ultimates, but it's into 2 others, and they do get the fight win.
yeah. With EMP and Rush, like I know you only have 2 ultimates, but genuinely EMP and Kitsune Rush are probably the 2 best ultimates, like 2 of the best ultimates to have in the game. Especially in this tiny
really
room,
are,
EMP
bro.
could be big here.
Like honestly, all you need is EMP, maybe, to win this fight. They use both though, just to secure it.
Yep. And Transflick
Yeah,
does
they're
find
gonna-
the first pick off the back of that EMP. A great dodge onto PJ's util as well. Now they just got to clean up this point, and it should be smooth sailing here for the Moonlit Foxes to cap their second point. Basically forcing the match point. So now Chernobyl Chinchillas have to go perfect from here, or the Foxes will take this map and this game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
with no ults for the Foxes coming into this next point, they do have. Oh, they do swap also Mikey to the Sojourn. Yeah, not many ults, so honestly, this is anyone's game at this point. For this point, at least. So, we'll see.
Yeah. Looks like the Chinchillas are gonna have the pride, but PJ falls! Got a little bit too aggressive here, and without the tank, the Foxes can just play slow here, and they should still be able to just win the long fight. Mikey's just in the corner here. It's gonna be really hard for him to survive against this. Oh, PJ's back. Oh, Translate gets taken out. Super winnable for the Chinchillas here. Beats
Fedora
you.
only
Fedora
gets
is
2.
huge.
He just wanted to keep up Nort. I think Nort's staying alive here, so.
I mean, if they could get some good stall at this point, that's good. You get early point, which is not. I mean, you take that.
Capturing the point.
Yeah, so that's a pretty good start, 44%, but a lot of ults here. So if it goes the same way the last fight did, the Foxes probably want to go really fast here, try to take an early fight and just force out a lot of ults. Try to hold on to their own. They're gonna have 3 here, so like they could opt to invest here and still have a couple left over, but Yeah, especially this blade without the beat, because they know that Fedora Master just used the beat, so they might just opt to try to just use this blade here.
Looking for the right timing and a good target to utilize here. Strudel's actually going to go first, though, with the Kitsune Rush. Riddle Dog mirrors with the Kitsune Rush of his own. And the blade does come through. Skycer on the point. Finds ones thus far, gets the entire support line, finds a third as well, and that just spells disaster. An entire fight just cleaned up. By Skycer alone, basically?
Skycer with
Skycer? 5k?
Oh,
That was
Mikey.
massive by Skycer. Yeah, big blade there. And I mean,
don't think the Foxes can touch here.
yeah, they shouldn't
Actually,
be
I
able
think
to.
they can. They can touch if they run into, but I don't know if they're gonna.
On my way.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're just playing for next point. Like, you're up 2-0, you don't really have to fight for it too hard. And they did get the blade and the Kitsune Rush out for the Kitsune Rush and the Hog, so I think that's actually a pretty good trade for the Foxes here. But
And Skycer and Riddle actually let off that rotate a bit, so now, oh, I'm actually going to try to engage on the rotate. The Moonlight Foxes are going to be going in here, seeing if they can open up, find any picks. The EMP does come in. They're investing the overclock into this fight as well on the other side, seeing if they can find anything. And Q's just pressed. They aren't even on the point yet. The Chernobyl Chinchillas just really wanted to win that fight.
I am super happy with that trade if I'm Transflex. Using the EMP for overclock, Doom ult, and beat. That's kind of an
very big.
overinvestment, in my opinion. And then now
Yeah,
you have
that's-
beat and overclocks.
That's not good. That's not good for the Chinchillas. They definitely need at least one ult to help them keep control of the point. I'll not be surprised if Foxes have an easy point flip here, but we'll see.
And because PJ was a late death, the point started out even. Luckily, Mikey does find very heroic pick here. Overclock is going to come up from HV, but isn't even going to be able to find anything here. They're down 2 already. And Fedora, Strudel just tasked with getting out now.
I don't think they will.
Yeah, they're getting fully dove here. Quick little TP.
No, actually, they might.
Create some space. Yeah, they do get out.
Skycer already has another blade here.
Yeah, I mean that's a crazy fight to win for the Chinchillas. I mean they booped the Hog off the map, and Mikey got a good kill, which completely secured that fight for them. And now they have ults coming up.
Oh, and Fedora dies early. That just shuts everything down. I think you just gotta.
Oh, good trade though, actually.
I think you gotta give this up if you're the Fox to just go to the last point here. You can try to force into this, but it'll be to no avail.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going the entire way.
It's not like the best ult, but you still probably would like to have it for the next point here. And then like only the Kitsune Rush used there. That's kind of rough for the Foxes.
Oh, I didn't even realize that Nort used his ult.
I have a
That's messed up.
I have a prediction.
Oh,
that
he's
the Spurs are
swapping.
gonna reverse sweep here. That makes sense. I don't love the support line with the Ramatra. I'm assuming that Skycer's going to use an early Kitsune Rush and then swap to Bat.
Nemesis one with the Kitsune Rush is really
Beat's
good
gonna
though.
be... Oh, that's
So-
true. You got the...
There was the overclock from Mikey that's actually going to be what's finding picks on the point here. He does get 2. Transflex gets a single pick there, but
I don't know if it's going to be
it's not
enough.
going to be enough for sure. Mikey just cleans up that fight. Basically single-handedly there.
And Strudel, I'm assuming, is going to swap off here.
We'll see. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Close to this EMP, so I could see it turnable for the Foxes, but like the Blade and the Beater are both online for the Chinchillas. I'm assuming that Fedora is just going to try to beat Skycer's Blade. And then maybe Charvatron's going to try to beat the EMP. So it's, I think overall it's going to be relatively neutral, because I think the beats are just going to kind of cancel out the other ults.
They honestly need to farm any. They have to like this at this point. They have to win this fight to win the map.
Oh!
Well,
Big pick on
HV
the
does
PJ
find a very
early.
good pick at the start. Ults.
Mikey
Mikey knows
holding on
slide.
to ults. Skies with the blade going in. See if he can find anything, but HV already has the picks. Fedora with the beat as well to sustain the team. The blade's gonna find nothing. The dash does take down Strudel though.
Oh,
Nort going
gets
hard
two.
though.
Both sides only with the Lucio
Nort gets
heals. And
3.
Nort just comes up massive.
That was like
Nort with 4.
Still, that was like a 50% point
That was
percent from just that one fight.
yeah. Now they have to cycle their ults well to hold on.
I think they have a
the
pretty good
point.
rotation here too.
Yeah, they
Uh,
definitely do. They got Judo back as well.
Much better.
Like
Riddle Dog with
EMP.
the Senior Rush is going to be rough, but
Peace.
Yeah, I think Chinchillas need to play slower and try and build up a few more ults. Like they're close to some. They go in though. Oh, that's not great.
they might not need an ulti here. Okay, these are overclocked. That's actually not like terrible for the Chinchillas. I think they still got one out for Kitsune
Chinchillas need to die now for another touch.
Oh,
They're not going to be able to. It's going to be very hard for them
yeah.
to
If
touch.
Charbatron gets staggered here too, that could be rough.
Charbatron
on the
does manage to get out though.
Window EMP almost beat and Ramatra ult and overclocked and Doom ult. That's very unfavorable for the Chinchillas.
Yeah, Foxes. All they have to do is play slow, wait for the dive to come in, and play second.
But HV
This
finds
guy's
another
already
early
dead.
pick.
And
EMPs and hacks are coming through.
Ramatra ult's gonna clean this up, I think.
It gets supported by the beat too. That's just gonna clean everything up. It's just
And
PJ left
PJ.
on the point, gets hacked down, and it's cleaned up.
Foxes survive a
Foxes.
scary flashpoint there.
I mean, that was a pretty tough match for them, though. I mean, this is not like the Chinchillas team that we've been seeing, really. They definitely looked better tonight than what I saw, so... Definitely looks like they kind of have... It's kind of looking good for the future for the Chinchillas. I do think that they have a chance to get at least one win this season, but massive win by the Foxes.
Yeah, and in a division that every single win is going to matter, who makes the playoffs, like this is a really good match for the Foxes to win.
100%.
Let me check real quick who's left for the Chinchillas. I really want them to get a win too.
That's yeah. I mean, you've
Oh,
been
next week
so
they play
close so many
War.
times too.
Oh, I don't think I like this very much for the Chinchillas. Oh yeah, this is rough. Next week the Chinchillas play a War. The week after that they play the Zeniths, and then the week after that they play the Dongers.
Oh, that's not great.
That's kind of brutal in my opinion. Do you guys want to do a player of the match interview? I can always
Yes.
drag someone in if
Yeah,
you
we
want to.
can.
Who
Okay.
who do we want to drag? I'm
mean,
not
I
gonna
think
lie.
no-
This entire time I didn't know which team we'd be doing the player of the match from because it was so close the entire way. So I was trying to balance both teams at the same time. I was like, I don't know who's gonna get it, you know?
I think Nort really popped off tonight on the Ramatra.
I'd give it to Nort, yeah.
I also think the backline though was also really good tonight. Strudel and Fedor played really well, but Nort really popped off. It had a clutch moment though on the last push map. So
Give me 1 second. It's not letting me.
It's not letting you.
Wait,
I would
I'll get it.
I love to give some love to the DPS, or as of right now the DPS line, Transflict and HV. I know that HV went over.
You call him
onto-
HPV?
Don't worry about it, man. Like HV and Transflict also did some insane work too. Like HV switched over
There
to
we
the
go.
Rhine. Obviously, it didn't go the way he wanted it to, but trying out new things. And Transflict did go over to the Ana, again trying out new things. But those maps were not their best. But when they're on their like actual role, they were popping off in very important ways.
Do you guys think you want to give it to Nort?
I'd
Yeah,
give
I'm
it.
down.
I'd give it to Nord here. Yeah.
Oh, hi.
What was that sound?
I'm a Malachite enemy. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna block your heals.
Okay, cool. I don't even know what that means because we're in Overwatch land right now, and this is not a League of Legends thing. But
Wait, I
welcome.
wasn't playing Risk of Rain? What?
Oh,
Okay.
Malachite? Is that Risk of Rain or League of Legends? I don't know, man.
Anyways,
Welcome, Nort.
hi.
How goes?
Pretty alright. I mean, we, had a bit of a rough time during those maps that we didn't do so well, but pulled it back in the end.
Yeah, I think that okay, the thing is like it's really weird because the maps that you guys won were really close. And the maps you guys lost, you guys kind of got like stomped on. It felt like you guys were experimenting with new stuff like the HV tank and then the transflex support at some points in time and it just like wasn't really panning out. Is that a correct assessment?
I mean, I would say like on a very minor scale that could be true, but personally, I think it's just we weren't adapting well. I mean, I know I personally started on the wrong hero on Route 66 defense and wasn't on the right hero the whole time, in my opinion. But whenever it was just, we were just struggling to adapt somewhat when we needed to in the moments, and just returning from that is extremely hard without um like knowing exactly 100% what you want to do. That's kind of how I view it, at least.
So what did you sort of do to pick yourselves up? Obviously going into map 5, you just suffered a rough loss on Route 66. You obviously went through multiple characters. You did the Junker Queen, you did the Hog, and then you finally swapped over to the Ramatra. What was sort of the calm to pick up, do this, lock in, have things work out?
I mean, I feel like as a team, it was just against what they were playing. We were struggling, like especially on that route against the double flyer. Like, it's very hard to run like the brawl that we were successful on for the other maps. On that on that map, especially on attack or something. But on Suravasa, especially, like those characters shine a lot more rather than the dive characters. So I felt like it was just more of a comfort thing rather than locking in that specific situation. But everyone knew more so what we wanted to do um, in the moment. So I guess there wasn't really much depth behind it, but but yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
Were you guys scared of Cathect playing? Were you scared like
Um,
after the trade where you're like, oh no, we got to play against Cathect, and then after Cathect got traded, you were like, oh, it's just PJ.
I mean, I don't.
That's
I don't
just
think we
PJ's
were
were-
like-
wild.
Well, yeah, that's honestly that's a statement of the century right there. PJ's a great player. I mean, I can only speak for myself. I don't know how. I mean, pretty much we always just go right into it, try our best, to win, to do well, all that good stuff. We don't really get scared, get fearful over certain things. Maybe after the fact, we're like, yeah, that was just tough, but I don't think anything's really scared us before, including tonight with Cathect or PJ or whoever maybe on that team, or any team for that matter.
And how'd you feel against obviously talking about PJ, how'd you feel you matched up against him as a tank? Because obviously you guys were most of the time running different heroes. Sometimes it was Sigma into Winston, sometimes it was a Ramatra into a Doomfist. There was a lot of different ideas on both sides. How did you sort of adapt against what he was doing and eventually win the match?
I mean, I like. Are you asking about myself personally, or just in general, like as a
Into
team?
yourself personally or whole team, however you want to answer it. All you.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it I feel like falls on comms and ideas and all that. I feel like for a lot of the time, the fights that we were losing and the maps that we were losing, we were more so like, I don't know what's going on. This is just happening. I don't know. It's fine. But having a solid idea, like whenever I was on tank, especially, or when I knew what I wanted to do on tank, like aside from like on those dive characters, it's a lot for me personally. It's all about communicating what you want to do and who you want to go on and all that stuff. So it's more so about everyone having a solid plan going into what they have, no matter what the comp, no matter what the heroes, all that good stuff. And that's essentially how we pulled out the victory in the end.
J Panini, any more questions?
Oh, I have one. You want to go first, DJ?
No, you can go.
Looking ahead at the playoffs, how do you guys feel about how the way the playoff picture is shaping out right now?
I feel like if things go right, if people have the right mindset, I feel like we could have a good chance. But I mean, and I do apologize for this. I don't really have a concrete answer. I'm just kind of playing it day by day, seeing
Oh,
how it
yeah.
goes, and I feel like that's a general vibe.
You don't want to think too far ahead.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like getting too much into our mind space. Obviously, preparing is good, but the vibe that I get is like we're kind of taking the swings as we go, um, rather than like planning way too much, and just seeing how far we get in the season.
EJ, did you
All
have a
right.
question?
Uh, I'll give you El Clasico.
Love that
Uh,
question.
I do too. If you could choose, if you can choose someone else on your team to get MVP, who would you pick for this match tonight?
For this match tonight, um, that's a great. Let me think about this for a second. I mean, obviously, I feel like everyone on our team deserves it equally. If I were to pick one, I would say Transflect or Fedora probably equally. Both of them felt like, I mean, I keep going back to it. Both of them heavy on the comms, knew what we wanted to do. Especially Transflect on that last map, really picked it up in terms of helping out with the fight planning and target calling and all that. But Fedora is always a consistent player on that comms role, whether he likes it or not. Obviously, you want to spread it out as much as possible, but I love you, man. You're great on those comms.
Of course. You do have a talented team, and you have a very interesting team. I was talking about it a lot on the podcast. We just couldn't give Fedora the MVP because, you know, he's smelly, but that's another case.
I
Anyways,
mean,
thank
he's a
you.
good kind of smelly, in my opinion.
That's true. Thank you, Nort, so much for the interview. Anything else you want to say before we let you go?
Not in particular, no. Hope everyone out there has a good last few matches, good finals run. Hope everyone has fun, be good to each other, all that great stuff. That's what I got.
All right. Now get out. I can only promote villainy in this channel from here on out.
Ah!
Thank you, Nort, for the interview. Anyways, the end. Is that I don't know. Did anybody else want to outro us?
No, you got it, big guy.
All right. As Nort said, thank you all so much for showing up to the stream. We all know the reason you're here is to promote villainy in Aurora Esports forever. So, you know, make sure to give each other a bit of toxic hate in the chat and always be mean to each other. Have a nice night, Aurora Esports. Villains on top.